give your heart and soul. Run lads, shoot lads, give us all a go. Run lads, shoot lads, you can do it yet. Come on Newport County, oh, bang it in the net.
Hello everybody and welcome to Taff's Word. This is quite suitably put as January. That's the title of this Taff's Word. Basically, we've just gone through a very, very busy January transfer window. Possibly the busiest I think I've ever known. I think the only time we could ever really say it was a busier January transfer window was in 2012 when Justin Edinburgh brought the likes of Andy Sandell, Lee Minshall, Adam Chapman, Carl Darlow and players like that into the club to keep us up and then took us to Wembley. Now we're looking at maintaining a promotion push, and it's fair to say we lost some key players in the January window, but we've also gained some potentially great ones at the same time as well. So I'm going to go through the outs. The two most notable outs that we had were Scott Twine being recalled by Swindon. I mean, I think everybody knows the impact that's had on our attacking play. Brandon Cooper, I think we've been a bit leakier at the back since we've lost him, and I think his build-up play from the back as a ball-playing defender was a real string in our bow. But, you know, Swansea's player, they had problems with their defenders being injured, so quite rightly they had to take him back. We lost Jamie Devitt, who never made as much of an impact as I thought he would. Whether he had enough game time to make an impact or not, we don't know. But yeah, I was a bit of a shame that we lost him, because I thought he'd step into Twine's boots, but you know, we never really got the opportunity to. Jamie Proctor never really took off at County. He scored a good goal against Leyton Orient, but other than that, didn't offer an awful lot. Yeah, he was good in the build-up play. He was good at holding the ball up and spreading the play around a bit, but as a striker, you needed to score some goals, of course. Carl Hawkins, I don't understand loaning Carl Hawkins out. I think it makes us a bit light at the back, considering we're playing three. All it takes is for us to have a couple of injuries at the back and we're left short. But if that's what it took to bring in some of the new players, you know, to release his wages off the wage budget, then, you know, Flinney's the one who's got to deal with the budget that he's got. And if that was his call, hopefully it doesn't come back and bite him in the backside. Robbie Wilmot, I've got a great deal of sympathy for Robbie. He's very, very good as playing as a winger, not very good at playing from the centre. So you've got to play players to their strengths. You know, he can dribble and he can cross. Therefore, winger was never really used in that way. And the times when he was used in that way, he actually impressed this season. So I do have a bit of sympathy for him. Tristan Abrahams went right off the boil, unfortunately, after a great start of the season, scoring goals for fun in the first few games, and then again, you know, fell off the boil. Don't understand it personally. He's gone back to Leyton Orient on loan. I'm not sure if his contract runs out at the end of the season or not. I'm hoping not, because I do think there's a good player in him and he could be an excellent striker. Let's hope he picks up a bit of form at Leyton Orient and then we can utilise him again. Well, there was an in and then an out, a very strange one with Owen Windsor. He came in, made one appearance and went back to West Brom. So, can't really say much about him, to be honest with you. Bradley Webb didn't really have much of an impact. Played only really in the Papa John's Trophy. So, you know, what are you going to do? Can't really rate him. Psycho Jane, I think, was very unfortunate with injury. He looked a very promising player, a very tricky, skillful and pacey player. The kind of player that could have done us some bloody good right now. It's a shame that he had to go back. Maybe the injuries were the reason why. Maybe he needs to play some more under-23s football and beef up a little bit before coming back into senior football. Maybe senior football is just a bit too much for the legs. And then obviously we had Aaron Lewis on loan who went back, but he came back. But we'll get back to that one. So on the ins, I've mentioned Owen Windsor, but he left anyway, so not really much to say about him. Scrimshaw looks, for me, a tidy player. Some people are putting him down because he's not scoring many goals. He scored one so far. You think he took that really well. But I think the service haven't been there for the strikers. I don't think the strikers are entirely to blame for the issues up front at the moment. I think the service isn't there. I think our wing-backs who have been phenomenal all season haven't given the same service lately as what they've given in previous matches, so Haynes and Shepherd. But I'll get on to the red card situation with Shepherd, but we'll go through the rest of the ins. Jake Evans from Swansea on a free. So he's our player, which is good, but we haven't had the opportunity to really see him yet. He's been on the bench a couple of times. He's not made the squad more than he's actually have since he's been with us. So maybe there's an issue with him at training. Maybe he's not fully fit. Maybe he hasn't played many games recently, so he needs some time. So hopefully we'll get to see Jake very soon. Anthony Hartigan played his debut for us on loan from Wimbledon against Harrogate last weekend. For me, the opening 20 minutes, he looked like a tidy player, connected well between the defence and the attack as part of the midfield. He looked as though he'd been playing for us for a while. But like a lot of the team, after the opening 20 minutes, after a really good start, the entire team fell away. People have criticised Hartigan, but for me, he was one of the brightest sparks whilst we were playing well in that match. I think the whole team just fell away after 20 minutes. Dom Telford, we haven't seen him yet, but he was part of the Bury team that got promoted 2 years ago, along with Nicky Maynard. We'll get to Maynard, but the next player I want to mention is Luke Gambin, who has hit the ground running for us. He's grabbed a couple of goals for us. He's a very dangerous player, good with the ball at his feet. So yeah, I'm really excited about having Gambin. For me, he could be the Twine replacement that we've been begging for. So Aaron Lewis has rejoined us as cover at left back. To be honest with you, other than Haynes, we got Dimitriou, but we need him as a centre back. We can't be pushing him out to the left back and basically using up all our resource in centre half. So I think that's a good, shrewd move to bring Aaron Lewis. He's young, he's Welsh. I'm happy with that one. The one person I want to mention is Priestley Farquharson. Now, strange name, but that doesn't matter. We've seen many a strange name in football before, so that's not an issue for me. Now, there's a lot of promise around him because of how good he is for Connah's Quay. Now, Connah's Quay have been excellent in the Welsh League of late. I think they're the current champions. And they obviously did well in the Scottish Challenge Cup as well. Now, I don't recall, I can remember them beating someone big in that, but, it's not a competition I'm going to particularly follow closely. But I know Connah's Quay have really, turned some heads lately from the Welsh League, and it's nice to see, a Welsh team aspiring to do things outside of just the regular Welsh Premier League. I mean, there's two opportunities for that, with that Scottish Challenge Cup and, of course, in Europe. And I know they came close to qualifying in Europe, or at least they made a good account of themselves trying. So, I feel like we he's one of their star players as well. So I feel potentially we could have picked up a really good player there. Because, if you think about it, the last time we heard of a really promising Welsh Premier League player coming into League Two was Christian Doige, of course. So that's definitely worth keeping an eye on him. And I'm very excited about this particular transfer. And then of course Nicky Maynard on deadline day, late on deadline day as well. So Nicky is a player I've always rated really highly as a striker. When I seen him sign for Bury, I thought he's too good for League Two. So then he showed why he's too good for League Two by firing Bury up into League One, along with strike partner Dom Telford, who we've got. So 2 years ago, this strike partnership fired Bury into League One. Nicky Maynard has not really hit the ground running at Mansfield the last sort of 16 to 18 months that he's been there. But maybe he just didn't suit their style of play, maybe. But to be honest with you, I'm a big fan of his. I think he's going to be great for us because if you've got good strikers, the service, your players who are used to giving the service to the strikers are going to be more willing if they know they've got good strikers there. And if we've got Maynard and Telford there to provide for, it's going to hopefully bring better out of the providers. So your Shepherds and your Hayneses are going to be delivering better balls into the box then, hopefully. There's going to be a bit more zip in our play because we know we can score goals with these kind of players up front. So the midfield will then do better. And then, of course, the defence won't be bothered quite as much. But then, at the same time, the defence, I think, has been the one saving grace for us. Although, little errors, you're going to get errors from time to time. But as a whole, the defenders have defended really well. So, they're the eights and the ins regarding the January transfer window. And I've rambled on for 9.5 minutes. So, yeah, you can see how busy it was for us. Lots of eights, lots of ins. Now, there's 5 players I want to mention for being good at the moment. obviously, I think Tom King managed to cement his place as number 1. I think he's already lost it, unfortunately. But then that's when you've got 2 quality goalkeepers, there's going to be a real fight for that number 1 jersey. Townsend had it for the majority of the season. I think Townsend had made a mistake or two. I think the Crawley game has got to go down as a Townsend mistake. And I think he weren't too clever then in the Leyton Orient game either. So I think he went off injured, didn't he, with Crawley, and Tom King came on, didn't really have much to do. Well, didn't have anything to do. We absolutely destroyed them for the rest of the game, just couldn't get the freaking ball in the net. But Tom King regained his place and played against Brighton, and I think he had an absolute stormer. And then he broke a world record with his goal against Cheltenham. But then I think the game against Oldham, I think you could say he was sort of at fault. Well, I wouldn't say he was at fault, but possibly could have done better with some of their goals. I think the first one definitely, and then the other 2 were unfortunate, really, to be honest with you. But yeah, I thought it was worth mentioning Tom King to show he's not down an 8 and he's there waiting to take that number 1 jersey. But Townsend, I think, will probably be the choice for the Grimsby game on Saturday. Luke Gambin has hit the ground running for County. I've mentioned him earlier. I think he looks a real player. So I'm really looking forward to seeing more from him. With Brandon Cooper going, we had to fill that void, and David Long King coming back to fitness has fit in so well. I think he looks excellent. He looks really strong as a defender. He looks strong in the air. You know, his defensive awareness is excellent, and he's good at playing the ball forward. So for me, he's filled that void quite well at the moment, and I think he'll get better. Mickey Dimitri was also had to pick up the slack in central defence, and I think he's been excellent. There's been a lot of last-ditch saving tackles to prevent goals from going in. He got the own goal against Oldham, which was just an unfortunate one. One of those defender could do nothing about. But I think Mickey Dimitri has really upped his game of late. And for me, the last one, the best till last, I've got to make a massive shout out to Matty Dolan. I think he's been phenomenal this year. I think lately he's been excellent as well. Against Harrogate, he was the only real player you could really say was having a good game still after that initial 20-minute mark. But then, obviously, he went off injured, unfortunately. Hopefully, he'll be back for the weekend. But I'm putting it out there now that Matty Dolan will be, so far, my player of the year up till this point. I think he's been excellent. I think moving at the centre-back, stroke of genius. Right then, so I know I've been rambling on. I've got a few other points to go over. So the red cards, we had no red cards all season. I think we had one of the best disciplinary records in the division up until the point Josh Sheehan went in on, I can't remember the player's name, but it's the Salford game. And then all of a sudden that just triggered a run of red cards, 3 and 4 games. So Josh Sheehan will be back for the weekend, thankfully, but Josh Labardi's out for another game. And then we got Liam Shepherd, who's out for 3. So, no, it's not good. No, Labardi's out for another 2, I think, isn't he? Yeah, it was Oldham. It was the Oldham game Josh Labardi went off on. Yeah, so we were missing out on him for another 2 games. But having Sheehan back, and I think the Harrogate game could have been the kind of game Sheehan could have galvanised that team a little more. So the red cards have cost us lately. But it's not the end of the world, and you'll understand why when I get to it. So the form has been really poor of late. We've had no win in 9 in all competitions. It's the last win actually was away to Grimsby 2-0 on the 8th of December. So it's been a long time since we've won a football match. But we have had some games called off. So maybe in amongst there we may have got a win or 2. But yeah, unfortunately it's just been, you know, a poor run of form. Hopefully the last team that we beat will be the next team that we beat, and we'll get out of it. Because if you look at the next 3 games, you've got Grimsby at home, we've got Southend, the whipping boys of the division, at home, and then we've got Port Vale, who are really struggling for form of late, away. So there's 3 very, very winnable games that could really put us back on track. And we win those 3 games, we're well back on well, not just on track, but you know, the confidence will be back in with the lads. So we're currently sitting in 7th place on 40 points. The top spot is only 5 points. But the people who are on 45 points, we've got 2 games in hand over. So Cambridge and Forest Green are on 45 points. We've got 2 games in hand over them. And everyone else, we got a game in hand over, we can go above as well. So we win our 2 games in hand, that puts us on 46 points. Carlisle have got 1 game in hand over us then, but if they win that, they can only go to 45 points. So the title is still technically in our hands, incredibly, after the bad run of form that we've had. So the way I see it, yes, we've been in a bad run of form. We've made the right signings now, I think. Some of them have got to gel into the team, of course. But I think the next 3 games are an excellent opportunity for us to pick up, get winning some games, get some more points on the board, and then if we get onto a good run of form, we can win our games in hand, take top spot back, and I think promotion is certainly in our hands. Even the title is still in our hands. So don't give up on them just yet. Anyway, like I said, I've rambled on a lot now, so thanks for watching. I want to give a great big shout out to Dave Greenaff at Pure Vans. He gave me this away top here, you know, so I'm really, really over the moon with that. Really appreciate that. Thank you, Dave. You know, that really means a lot to me. Yeah, so thank you for watching, guys. Cheerio for now, and as always, up the county. Many thanks for watching the latest content on the Amber Army channel. Please make sure you leave us a like. Make sure you subscribe for more content, both for the neutral football fan and also plenty of Newport County. Even more Newport County content can be found on the club's iFollow channel on the link above. It is just £4.49 per month to subscribe to that service. And those of you feeling extra generous can also support us on Patreon on the link at the bottom there. That would be a monthly donation of your choice. Thank you again, make sure you've subscribed, and as always, up the county.